In this quick breakdown, we'll see how to turn page meshes created in 3ds Max or any other software into a fully automated batch process that generates an infinite variety of game-ready assets. We will use basic shapes as drivers to shape our final look. These basic forms can then be sent through the graph and transform into much more detailed high poly version. We start with a remesh to get a more even geometry. Then we run through a loop, and for each element we will scatter or create some points by fitting a box around it and subdivide it to feed some points into the Voronoi fracture. Then you can see that it breaks the geometry into chunks. Then we make a delete small parts to clean a bit and remesh each chunk. And by remeshing the chunks we can smooth to make them a more natural look, not very harsh sharp edges, but make a bit of erosion or a kind of smoothing around the pieces to make it more natural. And then we will add some bevel to the edges, and we use an attribute randomize to make the look of the bevels more random and natural. And then we use a peak to basically inflate all the pieces, and then use a noise to drive the final mountain nodes that add some details on the surface. And finally we use the mesh sharpen node to make the shapes nice and clean. To make the mortar and the moss, we will basically remesh and erode the mesh, the result of the stone, and apply different noises and inflation to the mesh to make a secondary mesh that will blend with the first one and create the joints and moss. Here we have the final mesh, and we blend them together, we merge them together, and the final touch is to add a bit of detail to the surface. So we use a curvature and an AO calculation to get the final result. And the really cool part about procedural modeling is now we have set up our graph, we can basically use any block out, feed it to the graph, and get the final result. If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to the channel. It really helps. So thanks for watching.